Hey, cutie pies. I'm Lanikia, and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is Days of Our Lives edition. Today is Wednesday, May the 11th, 2022. Happy Hump Day. Well, it's almost Hump Night now. Well, it is Hump Night. It is over. All right, guys, let's get right into this. What Happened on the Soaps? Days of Our Lives. We're going to start with Sonny and his Uncle Vic. So Sonny and Victor are talking and everything, and Victor says, "You never gave me an answer to the question. Are you gonna run Titan for me?" And he's like, "Oh, it's such responsibility, and I had a lot going on." And he said, "I don't want to hear all that. This is all the more reason to know, are you going to run it?" He said, "Because you see how Gabby went in and got in on the mirrors. She already been trying to gun at it. We're not gonna have our company get taken over or whatever." And he said, "Okay, I understand." But he goes ahead and he tells them that he talked to Will because Victor was like, "Oh, what he have to say? He ain't never really want you to do anything." And he was like, "Actually, you would be surprised to know." He said it's a great idea, and he would love to come here and spend half the time here, half the time in Phoenix. And he was like, "Oh, really?" He said, and then Gabby's here so she can see the their child and everything. And he was like, "Okay." So Sonny tells him, "I'm going to run the company." He said, "Great." But Sonny says, "Wait, I have news. I have something to tell you." And he was like, "What is it?" And he says, "Leo is after me. So anything you hear, don't believe it." I said, "Now see, you already done started off with anything you hear, don't believe it." I'm going to believe it. Because the main people who say that it be the truth, whatever somebody about to say about you. But Victor's just like, "You just focus on the company or whatever," and that's how they leave it. Now, speaking of Leo, we see Leo at he's outside making his hit list, and he got Abigail on there, Chad on there, Chloe on there, I think Brady on there. And he said, "Oh, how could I forget?" And he writes down Sonny's name because, baby, he coming for y'all. He said, "You're not gonna get rid of the man I love, ruin my life, and think I'm not coming for you." And so then he goes to visit Gwen because he says, "I need someone who's going to be on my team and wants revenge on I think he had Abigail on there, not Brady, Abigail." He said, "I need somebody on my team that's going to want to get back at someone the same way I do." And so he goes and he sees Gwen, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you." And then she said, "They're just letting I didn't know who was gonna be because they're letting visitors in without asking her." And I said, "Well, they sure asked you about Ava because you told her you didn't want to see her." But anyways, so either Rafe lied or it's just a soap opera misstep. But anyways, she said, he was like, "Oh, of course." And he said, "I didn't have time after everything that happened with me. I finally heard about what happened to you." And he said, "But I'm here to do something I know you want to do." And she was like, "What?" He said, "Get revenge and Abigail and all them." And she was like, "Oh no, how I'm gonna be all like I'm gonna give you three guesses on why I can't do this." And he was like, "What?" Because yeah, because he said, "What?" Because it's you don't want to upset Jack or something. I can't remember what he said, but she said, "I'm gonna give you a third guess." And she started rattling her handcuffs. She said, "I am going." Oh, he said, "Oh yeah, you going to Stateville? You about to go to prison?" She said, "So how am I supposed to help you when I'm trying to stay out of prison?" So by this time they're going back and forth and they're talking and everything. And she tells him, "I would like to get revenge on Abigail, but I did kind of do something." And she was like, "What?" She said, "I told her that I killed her grandmother on purpose." He said, "What?" He said, "Well, I'm a vault, so you could tell me, what did you do it on purpose or not?" So Gwen leaned in, and I leaned in too because I wants to know. And she said, "I." And then here comes Ava walking in. Now Ava is there because she done had a nightmare that Gwen gonna shoot her up with the poison. So Ava come in there because she don't want no problems with Gwen because she is crazy. So Ava comes in and Leo said, "What are you doing here? You cannot be here because you don't know what true friendship is. Friendship is not, oh, my feet are to the fire, so let me go and tell on this friend." Exactly, Leo. And Ava said, I came here to say, Gwen, I want to talk to you. And Gwen said, I want to talk to you. And she says, okay, but I came here because, I really have something to say to you. And Leo was like, I'm not leaving. So you could say it in front of us or you could hit the door and don't let it, the door hit you or whatever. And so Ava was just like, all right. So she about to leave or whatever. And Gwen says, wait. And she tells Leo, thank you for coming or whatever. You know, if she can, she gonna try to help. But thank you for coming. I got this. And he was like, mm-hmm. And he said, well, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna be back to see you and all that kind of stuff. He was like, cause real friends support you and all that. He telling this to Gwen. So he telling this to Gwen in front of Ava. So then Ava said, damn, right? And Gwen said, what do you have to say that I want to hear? And she says, I came to tell you I'm sorry. Gwen said, ma'am, sorry don't do nothing for me. I'm about to go to prison. And she said, you want to come here and tell me I'm sorry? Because Ava was like, I'm sorry. Listen, it was me or you, and I had to choose myself. And Gwen said, that's what you came here to tell me, girl, if you don't get out of my face. And Ava was like, no, 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 listen. I came to help you. And Gwen said, how are you going to help me? Because she already done told Leo, I ain't got no money. Like Gwen said, I am tapped out. She said, so can you give me a lawyer or something? And Ava said, girl, I can't help you. I'm staying with Jake because I'm tapped out. She said, but I'm going to bust you out of here. And so Gwen is like, and I'm like, what you talking about, Ava? So then we see Leo and Sonny talking, right? Y'all, this review is not going to be long. You see I'm moving through this. So then we see Leo Sonny walking through or whatever, and Leo sees him, and Leo tells him once again, I'm coming for you. That's pretty much all Leo had to say. I'm coming for you. So he said, I'm glad you're gonna be in Salem because Leo was talking about being in Salem because it was announced that he's the CEO now, and so he was going to be saying, he said, "Oh, I'm glad you go, Sonny." So Sonny is announced as a CEO, and so Leo saw this in the paper, and he said, "I'm glad you're going to be staying because I'm coming for you." Or whatever. And I said, now, Sonny, I feel like you should have went on back home. But anyways, then we go to, so speaking of Gwen and all them, we go to Abigail. So Abigail is with Kayla and they're talking and everything. And she tells Kayla, I'm in debt to Ava. And this is going to be a mess. You could already tell they setting this up to be a mess. She said, I'm in debt to Ava. I really don't like that. I'm not comfortable. And Kayla said, if I know Ava, if I know, just knowing that, I would say it would be uncomfortable too. Because, they were like, no matter how much she says she's changed, you never know or whatever if she's really changed. And so then they started talking about Sarah and how Gwen gave her that dose and it made Sarah into a child. And Abigail, excuse me, Kayla is very worried. So speaking of Sarah, we go into the room and Maggie is there, and Sarah is still childlike. She's brought her home because they're working on the antidote to see if it'll work. So Xander come in and he's like, "Did you give it to her? Have you made up your mind?" And Maggie's like, "Listen, sir, I'm not finna just be pumping my baby full of all these drugs." She said, it's been nice having her. She said, I don't want her to be childlike, but it's been nice. He said, you want to keep her there? She said, no, I don't want to keep her there. But I'd rather have her childlike Sarah than pump full of pump full of antidote, and she be something else or someone else or whatever. And Xander is just like, he wants Sarah back. And I'm like, sir, you acting like you wasn't going to get married to Gwen just 2 days ago. Like you weren't about to marry Gwen. You weren't thinking about Sarah when you was doing all that. But anyways, I do. Okay. I'm gonna let it go. But anyways, Sarah's like, Xander, what you doing here? I'm not. I told you stop thinking about marrying me because I'm marrying Eric Brady. Okay, mama. And so then Sarah just shuts down. And they're like, Sarah. And so the medicine, like she's finally stopped functioning. So Xander runs out and he says, Kayla, we need you right now. And so the nurses and all them stop. And I said, see, Lonnie, that's how you supposed to do it. Because if you had came out with that urgency, Paulina wouldn't have never got in the elevator with TR, and you would have never shot TR because you just went in guns a blazing. But let me bring this back to Xander now. So Kayla goes in and she just lets Maggie know, we got to give this girl this antidote. I don't know if it's gonna help or not, but I ran her test and I did an emergency rush on him. That was the fastest test I've ever seen. And she said she's deteriorating her brain and everything. So we have to go ahead and get this done. And so Maggie's like, all right, let's do it. And so they go ahead and they pump Sarah full of medicine. And then they go out and Abigail said, do you know? And she says, oh, all we can do is wait. So on the inside, Sarah comes back to being Sarah. She says, she looks up at Maggie and she's like, no, she said Xander. She looks up at Xander and she says Xander, and it's Sarah again. Now, are they gonna be together or what or whatnot? I don't know, but we'll see, y'all. Um, so then we see, oh, that's it. Oh my goodness, I went through this whole soap. I wrote a lot for it to be over with like this. Oh, okay. So then we're not done. Lord, y'all forgive me because I like Jake, but Gabby be boring me. So Ava, I told you Ava had a nightmare or whatever, and she and Jake, they share the bed. It's platonic, and it's starting to be like they're getting more than they're not gonna be intimate, but you could tell that they're gonna grow feelings towards each other. So she wakes up from her nightmare, and he's like, I'm here, and she got bags on her eyes and everything, and he was like, I'm here for you or whatever. And then here come Gabby knocking on the door, and they were like, who is this? And it's Gabby. Ava, look at those bags on the end eyes. You might want to fix that. And oh, I see Jake was right. Y'all are sharing a bed. And then so to get back at her, Ava talking about it was Jake's idea to share the bed, Gabby. And then she gonna run to the bathroom. I said, girl, go and take yourself into the bathroom and fix your face. And so Gabby comes and she says, oh, really? And all that. I'm like, stop acting like you're not jealous when you are. So when Ava gets ready to leave, because you remember I told you she went to see Gwen, she gonna pause in front of Jake and say thank you for thank you for helping me, just being that sounding board, when she was woke up afraid from her nightmares or whatever. Because she told him, it was about Gwen, and he was like, you're safe and nothing's gonna happen or whatever. And so Gabby sees this interaction, and Gabby's just like, ugh. And so anyway, so she's talking to Jake, and she says, I read the paper and they said you were attacked. And he said, yeah, but that's not the first time. She said, so Johnny really was possessed by the devil? He said, yeah, and that's how I got ousted. And she says, well, I want you back, Jake. And he said, what? And she said, working for me. I want you back working for me. And he was like, what you want, Gabby? Because you don't just want me back working for you. She was like, yes, Alexa, stop. She said, yes, I do. And he said, no, you don't. No, you don't, girl. You don't just want me back working for you. And she said, okay, fine. EJ is making a noise, and he making a lot of noise about wanting his position back. And he said, she said, because I'm not at the mirror, it's going to be hard for me to hold on to this position. But if I have you behind me, I could. So he thought about it, and he said, yes, like we knew he was going to or whatever. But I don't trust him. I don't trust him, Gabby, because the way he said yes to the way he was looking, I don't know, girl. But anyways, that was the Days of Our Lives today, guys. Don't forget, if you want, you can like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. But either way, I'll be putting out these videos. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a new edition of What Happened on the Soaps Days of Our Lives.